All right, so we left off and we had what? We had brains and bones. Let's add a little body. Now, naturally, when we think about a table, we think about a tabletop first because we're sitting there. And if you think about tables, the average table height that we sit at to eat at is usually somewhere between 25 and 30 inches. Okay, 29 is a pretty common tabletop or countertop that we can have. So that's what we're going to use in ours. But we're just drawing the tabletop right now. If we look at a front elevation, you can see there's reference planes. Here are our reference planes. And here's the only datum that we see in the drawing. That's the reference level, and it's going to stay at 0 for us. We're not going to change that. But before we draw this, we're going to go back to our reference level and we're going to go to the Create tab. And once we click on the Create tab, notice we have all of these solid things that we can do. Today we are simply going to work with extrusions. It is just think about drawing something in SketchUp and then extruding it with push-pull. But we're not going to use push-pull to do that. We're simply going to click on Solid Extrusion. And now we are going to draw a rectangle. Now, we could snap from here all the way to here and draw that extrusion, but I don't want to do that because I want you to see how we're going to constrain it. And it's much easier if we just simply draw a rectangle arbitrarily in here. It covers all 4 boxes. It's not equal. Then we go to the Align command, or AL on the keyboard, and we align to here, this side, and lock it. We'll align to here, this side, and lock it. Align to here, this side, and lock this. And then finally to here, align, and lock it. When we're locking, we are constraining, people. And in order for this family to flex properly, we have to constrain them. Okay, so those are all constrained at this point. Now we want to look at something else. It says that my extrusion is starting at what? At 0 and ending at 1. Well, that doesn't sound right, does it? We're going to X out of this because if we went to a front view right now and we said finish, look what we have. That doesn't look like a tabletop, does it? I'm going to undo these steps. And I am going to cancel this mode, right? Yes, I want to cancel the extrusion. Here's why I want to cancel the extrusion. If I was thinking, and we have to think when we make families, I'm going to go to that front view and I'm going to say, this is my elevation, right? So my tabletop, I should probably set a what? A reference plane and then a constraint for that. How do we do that? Well, I would go to my Create tab, and before I got excited and I put any geometry or body in this family, I would go back to reference plane, and somewhere out here, I would just say, I'm going to say 30 inches up right now. And this is my first reference plane that I am going to name, and I am going to call this one tabletop. Right? Now I'm going to go to the Annotate tab and go to my Align Dimension, and guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to set that, right? And then when I click on this, right, what can I do? I can go up and create a parameter. And I'm going to call this parameter what? I'm going to call it table, or I'm simply going to call it table height. Okay? And I'm a little weird about this, so I'm going to go in and adjust that and make it a capital H later. I don't want that to bother somebody, so I'll adjust that later. Okay, so I've got table height in there. Now that I have table height in there, I can do something. I can go back to my reference level here, and I can say create, right, an extrusion, but before I create it, I can say set. And now it's asking me what work plane or reference plane. I'm going to set it to what? To tabletop, right? And I'm going to say, okay. And now I am set to this height in this view. And that's the level that I'm starting to draw from, not from 0, 0. So now I can go in and go to create, and I can, oops, sorry, I already did create. I can go to rectangle, and I can click where? Here to here. But I know my tabletop is only going to be about 1.5 inches thick, so I'm going to simply put 0 space 1.5, okay, 1.5 inches. How about 1.25 inches? 1.25. Now, this isn't going to be right, and you'll see this in a minute why. I'm going to hit apply. When I go to the front view and I say finish, notice what it did. It drew that up. I would rather make that a negative value, right? Because I don't want that 1.5 inches to be above my 30 inches. I want it to be below 30 inches. So I put a minus sign in there, hit apply. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, stop this video, let you get caught up, and then we'll pick up and we'll start putting legs on the table, and we'll figure out how to do our parameters for that.